Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Scottish Disney Cars Collector YouTube channel. And today we're going to be taking a look at these guys, the not brand new Thailand variants, but the brand new combo 2-pack of Sage Vanderspin and Darren Leadfoot. So these guys obviously came out of 2025 2-packs KC, which I do have the packaging over here for. We'll go over that in a minute. So for the new 2-packs, as you guys know who live in the UK, we don't get them here obviously, so we always rely on good old Gemdens or any other possible sellers who sell them for a decent price. So Gemdens has just got in 2-packs KC. However, unfortunately, by the time I got round to asking them what they had and what to buy, this was all they had left. Basically, because these 2-packs are in such high demand, because it is a really fucking good case. You know, you've got the Rally Race McQueen and Chick, the Race and Rescue Adam and Sheriff, Marsha Ells Wrench, Megan Shifter, and obviously Sage Vanderspin and Darren Leadfoot. But even in that, you've still got like Lightning Dragon McQueen Kabuto, Ken and Jinoki, Justin Roadrunner, Clovis Rider, Fabulous Hudson Hornet Dirt Track version. Like this, it's a really good 2-packs case. There's a lot in there that's you know, amazing to be honest. The worst one's Barry the Pedal and Nick Shift, but even that's still got Nick Shift, so you know it's not bad all round. But because of how high in demand these 2-packs cases actually have been, basically Gemden's had people contacting them to reserve a whole bunch, and I've been meaning to ask Gemden's, I just hadn't got around to it yet. And then when I saw that this was listed, I was like, oh fuck, they must have them then. And unfortunately, this was all they had left. They had 2 of these by the time I checked, and someone already bought the other one by the time I got around to purchasing it. So I was like, right, I'll just take the last one then. However, they are coming back in at the end of the month apparently. So I will try and nab the other 3, and hopefully I can get them reviewed for you guys soon. For this, the reason why I bought it now is just because I was just so hyped up about these 2-packs. Because even though this is probably the weakest one out of these 4 2-packs, this is still a really nice combo, I think. And I had a feeling that they were going to do Sage Vanderspin and Darren Leadfoot together for a very long time. This was before they were revealed on the poster, and I just don't know why. I just got that feeling that they were going to do a combo or something with them soon, because Darren hasn't been released since 2021 as a single, which I remember seeing back in the day when I first started collecting. He was actually a bit of a peg warmer, which I don't understand why, because I think this Thailand variant is bloody gorgeous, especially comparing it to the Chinese version, of which I do have one next to me at the moment. Sage Vanderspin has not been released since the accessory 2-pack of Murray Clutchburn, which was obviously, oh, when was that? Was that like early, God, when was that? That was like early 2023, wasn't it? About 2 years ago. But this guy, I never had him at all. This is my first time ever with Sage Vanderspin. This is a new variant to me for Darren Leadfoot. And because of getting this 2-pack with Sage, the only Piston Cup racer I now need is Dirksen D'Agostino, and then that's it. I have the entire fleet. Obviously, Eugene and Ryan are coming out as Thailand variants soon, but I do have Chinese counterparts. And for Slater Petrolski, which is one that I do have the Chinese variant of, but because Eugene, Ryan, and him are all a bit chipped, my China ones, I want, obviously, basically because I have all the other cars as talent variants apart from those 3. So I want to get all the talent variants for them, and Dirksen D'Agostino I will try and get a brand new talent variant of, and then that'll be me. I will have the entire fleet as talent variants, which is amazing to think. It's really, like, having a complete Piston Cup Racers fleet has been a massive childhood dream of mine, and it's something I've always wanted. I'm going to be very grateful to have them all soon. So yeah, it's just really nice that just Sage is ticking off another one in that list. So I think this combo is really beautiful. Like, just because they haven't been released in a while, and because they're re-releasing, like, if you have not noticed, in the last like 3-4 years, they've pretty much re-released every single Piston Cup racer as a Thailand variant, bar a small few, but they keep doing them in groups like every single year. And just because Sage and Darren, sorry, I have a phone call coming in from a random number. I hope it's still recording. I'm just gonna let the call fly over. There we go. Apologies about that. But because these guys hadn't been released in a while, I just had this feeling that Mattel were going to do something together with them soon, or even just as singles. And lo and behold, here we are. So my prediction became correct. Basically, I didn't imagine them as a 2-pack, but I just had a feeling that they would come out this year or next year, or just somewhere together. So here we are. So I will quickly go over the packaging. Right, so the packaging. With 2-packs, I always keep the plastic blister on them just because, again, we don't get 2-packs here in the UK, and I like to preserve as much of it I can because basically, yeah, the idea is in case I ever want to put the cars back inside. I don't know why I would want to do that, but I mean, hey, I could stick my China Darren Leadfoot in there if I really wanted to. But yeah, I just wanted to, like, I always like preserving these 2-packs as best I can because I open these very carefully as well, like not too wide up. So, yeah, so that's why, because getting 2-packs to keep sealed is an expensive thing, so it's just nice to keep the plastic blister on them. Anyway, obviously Sage Vanderspin, Darren Leadfoot, still using those very old artworks from like 2008, 9, 10. I do kind of wish they would update these artworks, to be completely honest. It's just how unnatural they look sitting on the Red Raiders packaging, especially because why is Darren's ass all the way up in the stadium? Sage probably looks a bit better, but it's also because how he's just looking off in the distance, and then Darren is just like looking at, like, I don't think it looks just natural. And it goes for Ernie Gearson as well. I don't like how he's just sort of slanted like that. Whereas Floyd Mulvihill, his artwork looked very natural, and just he looks like he's sitting probably. Like, see if they just downwarded the angle on them a little bit. I don't know. It's just I'm not really keen on. I think they're great artworks in their own right, but I just don't think they fit this packaging style. Yeah, we've got the Cars logo up here. Stuff at the bottom, and then the back. Now I hadn't seen this back until I got this 2-pack, so this was completely brand new to me. But of course we have Mater of the New, Working Tow Hook, and Cactus Lightning McQueen, and Masha El's Wrench, and Megan Shifter. These are both in 2-packs KC, so it's very nice how they're at least keeping up with that. So you, like, if you find this in a store shelf, you look at the back and you're like, oh, I can also buy these two. For this, I love how I know this is a China Cactus McQueen with the new that's a brand new stock image for Mate of the Working Toy, but I find it really funny how with this one it's just so obvious how stuck together they are, because Masha's also had her own stock image on the back, and this would just be the old 2019 Megan Shifter where they've basically just removed the tow cart. It's just how they've sort of put them together. Also, she's only got the tires. Why no tow cart? Why not all three? Because it's supposed to make up one single. If not, at least the tow cart. I think that's better than the tires, to be personally honest. But yeah, that is your packaging. Right. Seeing as Sage is the brand new one to me, I'm going to go over him first because I've never looked at this particular model of Piston Cup Racer, and I feel like for Darren it'd be more interesting to just judge a China versus Thailand, even though I can see which one is going to win already, because my god, that Thailand variant I think is really fucking good. So, sorry about that. Sage Vanderspin. He is obviously number 80 for the Gaskets racing team. And again, as I said, I've not gone over this particular model of Piston Cup Racer yet, so that's why I thought, because I'm going to go over this model once and then never again. Like, if I review, like, fucking Paunchy Wipeout or whatever, I'm going to go over sponsor decals, and not the model in particular. So, there's not much to say about the model other than it's the Aiken Axler model. That's what I would, know it as, because to me he's the most iconic of this model. However, Sage Vanderspin's model is completely incorrect, as you will all know, because this is how he should look. That's how the diecast looks. Now, you might be like, oh, well, what's the problem? Well, the spoiler's probably the biggest giveaway. You see that dip in there? Yeah, it should just be that curve. Darren is correct model-wise. That is bang on. But Sage, I don't know why they've never corrected this, but Sage is a completely unique Piston Cup model in that entire race. He's like one of 4 or 5, I think, that are just their own unique model. because he's nothing like any of the other ones. He's nothing like the RPM model, which is probably the closest to that in terms of shape, but even then he's nothing like the RPM model, but he's close to it. But he's just more like, if you look at pictures of him and frames of him in the movie, he's just more sort of like flatter and curvier. Like I don't know how to describe it, but like he should be more like sort of like a downward angle sort of shape, and have a straight curved spoiler, and the front of him should be completely different as well. I actually seen a custom that someone did on Instagram of this in this model, and it looked fucking fantastic. It really did. It was a beautiful custom, I thought. But this is what I mean, just how completely wrong it is. Like, the shapes just don't match up at all. So I really don't like that. I really wish he would, because then you look at this and you're just like, oh, the model's just so inaccurate. Anyway, the expression, it's all right. I prefer Darren's expression, to be honest, because he's just got that extra like eyelid underneath. For this model, Piston Cup races that Thailand has done, they've pretty much changed up every single expression on these guys. Like the RPM one's probably the least changed for expressions. They're always mostly the same, apart from maybe Johnny Lammer. The Leadfoot model, they're all very similar, but there are some slight little differences. However, these, like, you pretty much get a different expression every car, which I really do like. I would have brought out the other ones to compare to, because I now have this model of Piston Cup racers complete as well, all from Thailand, which is very nice. And because I've released a lot of this model in the last year. But I don't have the time to compare, to be completely honest. But yeah, the expression, it's alright. It's unique, it looks different. It's just, I think if you had that extra eyelid underneath, it probably would have helped it. But he looks a bit more angry, surprised, I guess you could say. He doesn't look as determined. But you've also got his teeth down there, his little grill, headlights with the number 80. And again, he is cream filled gaskets, the racetrack treat. So I'm gonna, some type of ice cream sandwich, biscuit, Twinkie thing. I don't fucking know. But yeah, anyway, at the top again you've got number 80 with against. I really like how that looks actually against the red, and in the back you've got cream track. Cream filled, and a bite out of the ice cream sandwich, and a nice yellow and red motif. The spoiler, fucking hell, the spray's just really not got to that all. Like, you see how grainy that really is. I can feel my nail running through that. I'll try to put my flash. There you go. See, yeah, there you go. See that there? Spray's kind of caught it on that side, even though it still looks grainy, but Jesus Christ. Especially when you compare it to the red underneath. Yeah, not a fan of that. And then as for the side, his blue wheels, again, I'll put the flash back on. They've actually been done very well. Although you can see just again the spray just not quite caught it, unfortunately. Though it doesn't look as bad as some other ones, but it's still not amazing. But yeah, but I like his blue wheels, I have to say. And again, you've got number 80, more of that yellow and red motif, and you've got his contingency sponsors, of which, from Thailand, they're not too bad. I mean, hold on, I need to bring this closer. Okay, actually, never mind. I'll just compare it with Darren, give me a second. Oh yeah, Darren's ones are definitely a lot more clearer, which is absolutely strange. But okay, never mind. Actually, these contingency sponsors are pretty poor. They're okay. Not the best though, unfortunately. And again, you've got at the back the racetrack treat gaskets and more of that motif. Also, the other side will be exactly the same. And as for the back, again, you've got gaskets, cream filled, the racetrack treat, yellow, red, and his tail lights, and his window bars, and the grey opaque windows, which are so much better than, well, we'll get into that comparison in a minute. But yeah, that's Sage. I do like him. It's nice because he was the last one I needed for this model, and I've always liked Sage Vanderspin. even as a kid, just growing up and seeing his stock image and that, I like the design and, I like the idea of like an ice cream like sort of thing to eat. But yeah, he's very nice. Though he's not as nice as this guy, I'll say. Darren Leadfoot. Honestly, one of my favourite Piston Cup racers. I just love that green and yellow motif. I think he looks fucking fantastic. He really does. I've always loved this guy, even owning the Chinese version growing up, of which this is not my original. This is one I got just in a random bundle a few months ago. The bundle had Graham and Acer with headsets, which are pretty rare cars as it is, so I just basically got... no, I bought... No, actually, I just bought a bunch of Piston Cup racers with them because they were cheap, so yeah. But it's nice to have. It's still nice to have it for comparison. But this is not my original. But this is a Chinese version, which is from 2013. Yeah, 3173. So the 317th day of 2013. So probably came out in 2014 then, because this is when they started doing the flat like windshields, which I'm not really a big fan of. But the color on this, like, to be honest, it doesn't look 100% accurate going off that art, because he should be that sort of lighter color, to be honest, but I don't care. I much prefer this darker green. I think it looks so much better. Just the detailing on him is very well done, I have to say. And obviously, again, it's the same model, but I really love this guy a lot. Even though I bought the 2-pack for Sage, I prefer Darren, which is strange. Really nice to have his Thailand variant at last. So for comparison, of which I'll put the flash on for this because you can see it better. Right, here's China, here's Thailand. So obviously right from the off, they have gave the usual eyeliner, which just does look so much better than this flat awfulness. Yeah, the eyeliner, just again, and not too thick as well, the eyeliner, just the right amount, I'd say. But it looks very well done. The front, I don't know what's up with that side mirror, but it's very wonky. It's just like sort of just, is that an error where it's been misprinted? I have no idea. I've only just noticed that. But see how curved it is compared to that. Strange. Obviously, probably the biggest and noticeable difference is the greens. Actually, I've just noticed. That's strange. So you can see there's a sort of seam, like a lighter green and darker green here cutting off, which wraps around the rest of like the body. On here, they've kind of just abandoned that and just made it all straight up green, which I don't mind. To be honest, I think it looks a lot better actually. Obviously, Thailand have gave the usual glossiness, which again just makes them pop so much more. And I love how super shiny he is for being shiny wax. I imagine he would use his own wax, to keep himself clean, using his own sponsor, Waxy Car. But yeah, that extra gloss really just does help with that. The teeth, not really changed. As for the hoods, it's all the stuff's in the same place except just the colours really changed, and that's it. So that's a darker green. Though I will say, I'll give them this. I think China done the shiny wax logo on the hood better, because again, if you look at the art, that is correct. Like, it should be lighter and darker. With this, especially with a flash on, now I can tell you in real life this is slightly darker than that, but it just doesn't pick up as well. So I think China wins on that actually. Obviously, it's got all these yellow sort of stripes that go around. I'd say the yellow on Thailand is better because it just looks so much more bolder and brighter. This just looks kind of faded. And as I said, I think the green's better on the Thailand version. The 82, again, you can see it's two tones of green, but it just doesn't quite fit in. Again, I would say China definitely wins that. And then as for the backs, the shiny wax logo, again, Thailand have not really differentiated that. Like, you could, it's these greens that they've just made it sort of fade in with the rest and not really helped it stand out, because this is definitely much more... See, this is what I said, even though this is definitely the more accurate colour, I prefer this, but like, it's just how that all blends in. So again, I'd say China wins that actually. Oh, China's stacking up on a few points here. The windows, easily Thailand wins that. Always hated these blue sort of like see-through windows. Being grey on opaque is just so much better. Makes so much more sense as well. And then for the backs, pretty much unchanged. Also a lot of chips here. Apart from the silver part, I'd say Thailand wins this. Not really much has changed there, to be completely honest. And then as for the side, well, okay, the green looks a bit more standout here actually. Both of their tires are black, however, again, Thailand's struggling to get into all the nooks and crannies, so even though it's grey and black, which, you know, it's not really a hard thing to tell, yeah, of course, China win on the tires front. And as for the contingency sponsors, well, I was surprised to see, even though China is obviously always going to be more clear than Thailand, they're actually not that different, to be honest. These China decals aren't, maybe it's just because of the age and because this is obviously chipped in that, but they're not really that much more clearer. You can still read what it says on the Thailand one, but like that Gasprin logo on the China one, for example, probably due to being chipped, but yeah, you get my point about how I don't think China's probably slightly better due to clearance. However, honestly, the contingency sponsors on this are actually really well done, I would say, from Thailand. That makes a change. Yeah. And the back. Against that darker green doesn't help it stand out. Also, weird how the green keeps coming down here but cuts off up here. I imagine this is more accurate. And again, date stamp, well, the bottoms, well, one's a slightly darker grey and one's lighter. But again, 3173, the 317th day of 2013, and U10A, so that'll be the 10th week of 2025. So, even though I think China gets the accuracies better, I think Thailand still wins this comparison. I just much prefer the darker green on this, even though I know it's not accurate, but I just think it looks so much better for it. Yeah, but the China variant's still really good, but I prefer the Thailand version. Definitely. So there you have it, everyone. That is my review of the 2025 2-pack of Sage Vanderspin and Darren Leadfoot. Really nice 2-pack. I think it's very refreshing to see this 2-pack of Piston Cup racers, because we've just been having the same fucking ones: Peg Warman, Claude Scruggs, Chuck Armstrong, Ernie Gearson not so much, Floyd Mulvihill, Davey Apex, Billy Oilchanger, Winford Bradford, Rutherford, and it's just getting really tiring. You know, I think we can all agree that we're just sick of finding the same cars on the pegs over and over again. So seeing this 2-pack, even though we will not see it on UK shelves, unfortunately, it's just really fucking refreshing. And there's two really nice racers, but obviously I imagine if they brought them out as singles this year, they would have peg warmed. And then if they'd done like a 2-pack of, I don't know, Claude Scruggs and fucking Ernie Gearson, that would have been more refreshing. Like, you basically just swapping roles, more or less. Again, it's not about them as releases, because I think Claude, Ernie, Chuck, and Floyd are all fantastic. It's just the amount of times they keep releasing them and producing them, and it's like, it needs to slow down. So to me, this is a very refreshing 2-pack, and honestly, these might be my favourite Piston Cup racers they've released this year, outside of Ernie Gearson. So far, that is. We've still got Ryan Shields, who I don't think I'll be as big fan of, but Eugene Carbureski is the one I'm really looking forward to the most. So yeah, that's my review. Hopefully I can get the other 2-packs reviewed soon. If I get the 2-packs at the end of the month, the reviews for them will probably be up like early July at least. So yeah, and KSW, update on KSW. Graham and Acer on Smiths are due in between the 23rd to the 30th, and they're in that case, and I checked the other ones in that case, because the new stuff is still not listed, and it seems like it's coming in soon. So, yeah, but they've not listed the actual fucking highlights. We'll see what happens. Anyway, yes. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you all soon. Goodbye.